community have been trying to they've always ensured to bring in seasoned Microsoft 365 experts, right? For moderation, to speak to us, to teach us rather. And then for me, I would say all the sessions I've been part of, right? Even as an expert, I still learn one or two things. So again, everyone here, you're all welcome to today's session. I believe our speaker is here already. He's warming up. He's gymming. Right, to dish out all the what he has in store for us today. So quickly, let me share my screen. So we'll just begin immediately so that other people can also join us. Okay. So let me just hold on. I think he's here from beginning. Yes. Okay. Once again, welcome to the Nigeria M365 community. It's a community where experts from different walks of life, right, around Microsoft 365 come together to kind of give back to the community everything they know, everything they've learned, and not just they say learning is continuous, right? And they themselves they are still learning to keep themselves updated. So one thing you should know about Microsoft 365, it's a cloud computing solution, a software as a service where updates are being dished out, are being rolled out every 2 weeks, every month, every quarter, every half of the year, and every year, right? So you also as an expert, you need to ensure that you are up to date, right? If not, the world is going to leave you behind. So I am the moderator, right, for today's session. My name is Joshua, and I'll be moderating today's session. Okay. Then we have our speakers here, everybody here, Joshua and Kingsley. Yes, and Kingsley. Kingsley Chiakwa, right? So what you should know about Kingsley is that Kingsley is a seasoned Microsoft 365 security specialist, right? He has been in the space since 2019. That's 6 years ago. So he's rooted, he's grounded. He's I think one of the first people that one of the first people that actually started supporting Microsoft 365 in Nigeria when it became very popular 2019, 2020, right? So he's very seasoned. He's an expert, a subject matter expert. And today he'll be teaching us or taking us through the session today. And he joined Tech Expert in 2019, and since then he has also worked as a Microsoft CSS. He has worked with the Microsoft CSS team as a technical support, right? That's Microsoft CSS, right? So they support lots of technologies around Microsoft Teams, SharePoint Online, Exchange Online, OneDrive for Business, Azure Active Directory, now Entra ID and all that, right? And so he will be speaking to us today. We also have our patron, MJ, Olajumoke Toriola. She's the CTO of Hashem. She has over almost 2 decades of experience in the IT space, right? And then I don't know if some of you have been following her, you would see she is very, very engaged in a lot of Microsoft community service, talks, conferences, webinars, and the likes. So she's also a seasoned professional. So again, like I told us, everybody here in the Nigerian Microsoft 365 space are professionals, right, in different fields, in different aspects, some across multiple domains, right? So let's keep our fingers crossed, prepare our minds to learn always whenever we have this session. And for today, right, you'll be hearing from Kingsley. So we have some housekeeping rules, So again, I would like to let us know that this session is recorded and we made available. Right, all our sessions are uploaded to the N365 YouTube channel, right? Nigerian 365 YouTube channel. So you can always go there. If you've missed the previous ones, you can go there. We have series from beginners to intermediate, and then we are also having an intermediate mentorship class. So I think the window is closed for now, but again, always keep an eye on the space. A lot of opportunities are available. So I would want us to keep our mics off, right? Turn off our mics, mute ourselves when we are not speaking. Hello? Sorry, please. Okay, thank you. I think he has been muted. All right. So let me go back to my slide. So ensure your mics are muted, right? And then do not interrupt the session. If you have any questions, just pen them down. At the end of the session, during the Q&A session, right, would do justice to your questions. You can actually put your questions. Please, let's mute our mics, guys. Okay, so you can drop your questions in the chat box, right? And then the moderator and other leaders that are here would answer your questions or call the attention of the speaker to your questions. And again, please subscribe to his YouTube channel so that you can be up to date. You can be kept up to date on all the different events in the Nigerian Microsoft 365 space and other other events also. So without wasting much time, right? I would like to invite our speaker for today, Kingsley Onyeka Chiakwa, to take over the session and then talk to us about Microsoft 365 enhancing security, advanced spam filtering. So this is talking basically around exchange, your emails, spam filtering, inbound and outbound emails. So like I said, please let's all have an open mind. Let's listen attentively, and then Kingsley would fill our hearts today. Thank you very much, Kingsley. Please, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joshua. Sorry, I'm a shy person, okay? But I'll try as much as possible to keep my shyness into the box. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kingsley Onyeka Chiakwa. I've been into the Microsoft space since, like I said, 2019, and it's been a lot of, it's been a lot of ups and downs, good and bad, and also wonderful experiences, getting to learn from different people, being with this platform as well, being an upgrade. So I have also been with different organizations where I got to, assist with setting up some things within the Microsoft platform. So yeah, I would love to just brief us. I'm sure most of us here are already grounded, if at all not involved already. Most of us we already know a little bit about the Microsoft 365 platform. So I wouldn't really be going much into basics. I will just have to stick with just a little basic and then a little advanced part of of what I will be discussing today. Okay, so like you said, I will be discussing about the Microsoft advanced spam filtering, enhancing the spam filtering, because this is one very topic which is always been discussed, but sometimes you have to keep it rolling for more people to be more aware about it. So yeah, I think that's enough. Which please share the slides. I think is it on? Okay, I'm not sure.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Um, so can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, yes, it's up now.
All right. Okay. Just let me put this up. All right. Thank you all for joining in. So, today's topic being enhancing security with Microsoft 365 advanced spam filtering. So I'm going to start with okay, sorry, what's going on now? Okay, so I'm going to start with the background with how spam has evolved, the threat. So this is significantly been something that has been going on for quite some years now, since the evolution of the internet. So it has evolved over the years, becoming a more complex and pervasive threat. Initially limited to unsolicited emails, spam now infiltrates various platforms, including SMS, social media, and instant messaging. So modern spam often carries malicious software such as phishing tool, ransomware, or botnet malware, which can steal personal information or damage system. Okay, so there's been a lot of, spam, lots of malware, lots of, ways to which intruders get to attack people or get to intrude into people's spaces, to different organizations, either to steal or to majorly to steal, okay, or to just get something out of them. All right, but then the mechanisms to which people get to use these days has been majorly about emailing. Okay, there's a lot of mechanisms, like I mentioned, malware, ransomware, of which they get to steal stuffs from you, from the demand for money when you get to see it, or they put some rootkits or botnets malware into your system, and then they get to shut down your system to which you cannot operate. Okay, but so far, like I couldn't really get the statistical picture, but so far in the past like 5 to 10 years, the major aspect to which people get to spam people is through emailing, through social engineering. Okay, so they get to send you emails to which you get to think it is a legitimate one, and then you get to click on some phishing links. So that way they get into your system, get your passwords. So credentials get stolen, emails get hacked, get compromised. So this has been one of the major ways through email spam, phishing, and spoofing. So phishing, I'm sure we are all aware, it's majorly just deceptive messages that tricks users to revealing sensitive information, passwords, financial details. Spoofing, meaning that the person sending is trying to appear as a legitimate person, okay, or a legitimate company, be it from Microsoft or from Google or from anywhere. You get to see it like, okay, this is Microsoft, okay, this is Azure, this is Google, but it's actually a false image. So these are mostly the most recent and the most used currently method of mechanisms to which they get to get to spam people. Okay, so so now how to recognize spam emails. You first of all, it's good that everyone, especially for the technical people who are involved, they get to check, they get to know these things, because if at all the end users do not know, those who are technical should know. One is checking the sender's email address. So you look out for slight variations in the domain name, in the sense that you could see the email is sent in Microsoft.com, but maybe when you look closely, because paying attention to detail is very key, when you look closely, it's something Microsoft.com, maybe omitting an S, something like that. So urgent scare tactics is being cautious of they want you to be cautious of emails warning you that your account will soon be disabled. So they send you some sense of urgency that, hey, if you don't do this, something is going to happen. If you don't click this link, if you don't do something, something else is going to happen. So they scare you with some urgency. So poor grammar, spelling mistakes. They also get to send emails with, you're just going to notice there's little grammatical errors. Some may not look at it, but when you take a closer look, you notice grammatical errors. Uh, Even the logos, sometimes the logos, if you are very well aware of maybe Microsoft logo, you would notice some some difference in it that you could tell this is not legitimate, right? The font being used as well, sometimes you could recognize from there. Unusual attachments. So be wary of unexpected attachments or links, especially if you are not expecting them. So if you check and you see an attachment which you don't expect, also be beware. So generic greetings, if the email starts from "dear customer" instead of addressing you by name, it could be a red flag. Well, even though this is kind of archaic, but lots of people get to, they have evolved in these methods. They've evolved in these methods of, doing this. So that's just one of the ways, for maybe from an amateur, hacker, you could see such things. So hover over links. Now, this is one of the most important ones. So if you are checking an email, one of the things you should notice whenever you hover on the email, when you go to the link, maybe where it's asking you to click here or download your invoice or do this, it's likely going to be some big blue link or just something protruding. So when you hover on it, just down left, you are likely going to see the actual link, if it's HTTP or HTTPS. So these ways you get to know if such things are suspicious, if it's going to contain some links which is not looking good. So that way you get to figure out if that link as well is not good. And then lastly, the this should be the P1 header. Yeah. So the P1 header, actually, my mistake. The P1 header is going to show you lots and lots of things. So the P1 header of the email is not where everyone goes to. So people usually just see the email, okay, the subject, uh, the the date, the sender, and that's it, right? And the body, that's all they look at. But from the technical perspective, you try to look at the the header, okay, the original source of how the whole email was designed, okay, how the whole email came through. So that's, we will get to it, how to review those aspects to trace such emails. Okay, so here is an example of the spam emails. Just like I mentioned, you could see the no reply at corpoutlook.com. corpoutlook.co.uk. This is them just trying to tell you, okay, the first one you see, it says, um, this you password expiration notice, keep your current password. So that's already an urgency telling you that, okay, look, you have to do something because your password is going to expire. And then the underlined one there shows you that this is definitely not a legitimate one, because corpoutlook.co.uk have no business with you. That's not legitimate. That's not coming from Microsoft or from Outlook, because it's not official. Then this here, the other one that you see, is also something that some organizations like Microsoft has implemented this, that whenever an email is coming from outside, at some point you have to set it up yourself, that the sender no reply this is from outside your organization. So lots of organizations have this set up already, but if they don't, it's something that is good for users to be aware, so that when they just see that, they just, okay, this is an outside email, right, and not an internal one. And then the last one down here, you could see that the when you hover on the link, you could see the actual, when it says keep my current password, the actual link is fake. So those are the ways. So the second one, the second picture, looks very much detailed, looks very much, I can tell you for sure that there's been lots and lots of improvement in the spam emails, lots and lots of improvements. Some of these ones are very, very old and easily detectable. There's lots of them now that when you just look at them, it's very believable, very, very believable, because they have everything all together, and you just have to look in deeply, right? You just have to look in deeply. Some would send you, the recent one I know about is invoice. People get invoices of which they never subscribed for, right? They get emails about their invoice, and it looks good. It looks smart. The sender, everything just looks good, and at the first glance, looks all well written, right? But first of all, you're not expecting such. You're not expecting such type of invoice. You look at it and you see, okay, why am I getting this? So that already is, raises the eyebrows. So here you could see that this looks good in every way, but then sense of urgency says, to prevent shutdown of your VM, please send us a short reply to this email before 11:59. So if you don't do it, please do it, or else your VM is gone, or you're going to be much more afraid. So these are the things to look out for. I believe major people are aware of, major IT people are aware of these. So, all right. So down to what I was talking about, the email header, which is of different components. So now the first one, the P2 header, which is what everyone sees, or the message header. Everyone gets to see this one when you get an email. The email comes in this format, which is the subject, security blue team email verification. You see the sender address, and then you see the yourself, which is the recipient, and you see the date as well. So this is just the normal thing that everyone gets to see, and many people or end users don't really get to look at the back end to see what's going on or how this email actually arrived. So that's where the P2 headers, called the envelope, the P1 header, that's where the envelope header comes in. So that's where you see, so it's a part of the SMTP process, and are typically not visible to end users in their email client. So the P1 headers are primarily used for technical purposes such as email delivery and spam analysis. And they include information like mail from, RCPT, message ID, and the several others. So how to get to it is, get to that part, how to see the message header. I believe majority of us already know that. So this is just an example of the email header, and some of the things here, we're going to go deep. We're going to go one after the other into them, because they are very key important things to which your emails get to analyze spam. Okay, it gets to, you can do some changes from all these things from your security side, from the back end. You can do some of these things to ensure that these things are changed, and then they do not allow them to come into you tweak the message header to not allow some kinds of emails, right? So that once it comes in, you only expect a certain type of header, because from the P1 header, you see if this is an expected result or if it's not an expected result. So then, so advanced spam filtering, which we'll be delving more into this, is a feature within the Microsoft Defender for Office 365 that allows admins to mark messages as spam based on specific message properties. So it provides granular control over spam filtering beyond standard policies. Also, it allows administrators to enable specific spam properties as filters, and it focuses on identifying, blocking spam, specific spam characteristics. Because so the essence of this is that on a normal day, many people don't get to use this feature, right? The advanced spam filtering. It's only on certain occasions which you can, or you would want to, because there are lots of, it comes sometimes with false positives and false negatives. So what do I mean by false positives? False positives are emails which are legitimate, right? You expect those emails are legitimate ones. You expect them to come into your inbox, but you saw them in your junk or you saw them in your quarantine. Then false negative are the ones you don't expect. Okay, you don't expect to see them at all. You expect them to just be blocked or in quarantine, but then you've seen them in your inbox. So these are the reasons for advanced spam filtering. It's one of the consequences, but can still be controlled, right? Which is one of the reasons why we have technical people who are working on the messaging collaboration for every company. So the essence of advanced spam filtering, as I said, are for specific reasons, like it says, one, providing granular control over spam filtering. I'll take a situation whereby if you have an on-premise organization, you have an Exchange server, and you have your own settings of which you have to, you have maybe a centralized mail flow of which emails comes from your on-premise to Office 365. Okay, the mail flow is from on-premise to Office 365. So because of that, or even if it is from a partner network, like from a partner application that you have your emails, at some point you may want to control the types of emails that comes in, because every email coming from there is expected to be legitimate, right? Every email coming from there is expected to be legitimate. But what about situations whereby there is a spam coming from there, right? There is a spam email coming from there and it comes into Office 365. What do you do in such scenarios? Microsoft cannot, 100% control your on-premise environment. So these are some of the reasons why people would want to make a more granular control over spam filtering, right? And and also other reasons being for DNS DNS compilations, other complex situations that you might want to have to use this. But then again, this is usually not being used, but on certain scenarios which certain companies would have to use the advanced spam filtering. Okay, but then we'll still talk more about other things that before we get into this. Okay, so talking about the headers, we are going to go later into the different the header itself, but then to be basic on what the headers contain, there are different key things to mention. So one is SPF, sender policy framework. So we will talk about all these things. DMARC, domain-based message authentication reporting and conformance. DKIM, domain keys identified mail. So these email authentication methods, these are things that every email must pass through. For every email, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Google, whoever is the email provider of the email or the email host, they must have these three things. You would see them in every of the email, every email header, the header. So these things are key things because they are what authenticates the sender. Okay, they authenticate the sender if it is genuine or if it is fake. So these are the authentication part, the authentication things, methods which every header would contain and allows for emails to come through. And then for specifically for Microsoft emails, some of these are not in general. I'm talking of Google and other email providers. Some of these are not there, but you still find some there. So this is the X4 front header. For the X4 front header, you have CIP, which is the connecting IP address. That is the IP address to which that email came from. You will find it in there, the CIP. The SCL, which is spam confidence level. We'll get to talk more about that. So this is majorly, this is how the level of spam, okay? Every email has a spam confidence level to which it's being graded. So then it's BCL, bulk complaint level. Now this one is is specifically a Microsoft header. Okay, this is specifically a Microsoft header because Microsoft does not support bulk emails at first. Microsoft does not like emails that comes from newsletters. When people do email campaigns, people get to send to 1,000 people for maybe some newsletters that they want to do or for some email campaigns, things like that. Microsoft doesn't like when you are using things like Outlook to send it. It would definitely get to block. Okay, you would get a block when you send such things using Outlook because it's not supported in the first place. There is Exchange Online limits. Microsoft Exchange Online has its limits to which whenever you send such emails, it would block it. So for the most cases, it is recommended for people who who are Exchange Online customers and want to send such bulk emails. You send it using third-party applications. Talking of Mailchimp, Sales Funnels, all those ones which people get to use. There are lots of popular ones people get to use for these things, but then you still have to make some changes. You have to do some things to do this. So BCL, bulk level complaint, bulk complaint level, sorry, is the level of whenever an email comes in and Microsoft detects the email as a bulk email, because these are some of the ways that spammers get in. You would sometimes, excuse me, you would sometimes check in your emails. I'm sure right now, if you go to your spam, you would see things which you don't expect, right? You would see things which are just lying in there because some of these things are bulk emails. They didn't just send it to you, they sent it to so many people. Okay, they sent it to so many people, but you don't even need them. You get to wonder, how did you even get them? When did I even subscribe for this? So Microsoft gets to grade in the email header the BCL, the bulk complaint level, based on what level it is. If it is a high level of BCL, it should just be blocked. Okay, it should just be blocked for certain things. So then CAT is category of protection policy. This is the part where emails get to be it signifies in the email header the reason for maybe an email getting blocked. Okay, if it's there are different values for it. There's cat none, there is catfish, there's cat spoof. So there are different values for which you're going to see in the email header that would show you the reason for such an email, right? And if it ever came through. So then there are other ones. We're still just going to touch one after the other. The SFV, the spam filtering verdict. Spam filtering verdict is still all boils down to the same thing, based on how the email came through. If there's a process of which email comes through, we're going to talk about how its email comes through specifically to Microsoft's platform, and the processes to which it goes before it comes into your inbox. And then X custom spam ASF. This specifically is if you have designed, if you have customized one of the advanced spam filters. If you have customized one of the advanced spam filters to have, it's likely going to have this included in the header, X custom spam. Okay, that is going to be included if you have customized and advanced spam filtering. And then we have ARC, which is authenticated receive chain. Many don't get to use it, but it's also a very good thing to look at. Okay. So we're starting off with SPF, which is Sender Policy Framework. So SPF is, sorry if I'm being too fast, but I can, okay, when we're done, I would think questions. So SPF is an email authentication method that verifies that the sender mail server is authorized to send emails on behalf of the sender domain. The SPF records lists, the SPF record lists the authorized IP addresses or mail servers that are allowed to send emails from that domain from the DNS. So SPF, as it says, is an email method, email authentication method. So it verifies the mail server of the sender. If the sender is not authorized to send from that domain, of which case for every email that you're sending, there are two things. Let's say I am ABC. I am John at abc.com, sending to Jane at xyz.com. For John, whenever the email is sent, okay, to Jane, there are two things it will look at. It will look at the domain for both sides, and it will look at the username. So in this case, John at abc.com has a domain, right? And is sending to Jane, who has another domain, xyz.com. So both domains are invoked here. But in this case, SPF is going to look at John's SPF. Now, the email being sent by John, is it actually coming from abc.com, or it is just some, these are some of the things it verifies. If it's just coming from um, a random SMTP setup or a telnet setup, which someone just did. So this is where it looks at it. The domain abc.com, the domain's DNS is it has all the records, including the SPF. Okay, the SPF, the DMARC, the DKIM, all these records are in every domain that is on the cloud. Every domain that's on the cloud has a DNS record. So any email being sent is going to have to be verified through this DNS. Okay, so it's designed to prevent email spoofing, where someone forges the from address in an email to make it appear as if it came from someone else. And the header authentication result, it's either you would see SPF colon pass. So this means the sender is authorized and the message should be accepted. Now, don't take this as this is always how it's going to be, because right now, these are the basics of how emails are being sent, right? These are the basics of how many emails are being sent. But then SPF right now is one of the most basic ones. I just have to put it because now people have gotten lots of ways to which SPF is being bypassed. But I'll still talk about this, how it gets to work. So SPF colon fail, the sender is not authorized and the message should be rejected. So in such ways, SPF colon fail, you'll see it in the header, means that it did not pass the SPF framework. Soft fail, the sender is not authorized and the message should be tagged but accepted with a high spam score. Then the last one, hard fail, the message was sent from an IP address that was not specified in the SPF DNS record. So this here is the syntax. Talking about SPF, there are lots of things which some people might not be aware. The syntax here for every domain, V equals SPF1, then inside the bracket, okay? Inside this bracket where you see valid email sources is the most important part, okay? Inside that bracket is where everything, the email source to which you are using, the IP address to which you are using. So what am I talking about? Let's say John at abc.com has his domain, right? abc.com. Now, if John goes to his domain, goes to the DNS editor, he should find TXT. So it comes in a TXT record, okay? It should come in TXT. And in this TXT record, the syntax should align just like this. The SPF V equals SPF1. And this part here can be anything. You can change it. It can be Google's mail server, or it could be any one which is John's email provider. And also in situations whereby John is using an on-premise environment, for instance, and he sends emails from this on-premise environment, okay, situations like this, or even from, let's say, the MailChimp that I discussed about, any application to which John has to send that email, and it has to show that it came from the domain. It is the valid sender. This has to be put in, for instance, MailChimp. Okay, let's say we're using MailChimp to send emails. The 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 mail server for MailChimp, okay, the mail server for MailChimp has to be put in somewhere in this. Okay, so if or either the mail server or the IP address of any application, SMTP application, if you are sending from an on-premise environment of which all the emails coming from that environment, all the emails coming from abc.com, for instance, are 192.168.0.10, that is all where it's coming from, then it has to configure its IP4 colon the IP address, okay, and then include being the email provider. In this case, spfprotection.outlook.com is Microsoft's SPF record. For other ones, there are different ones. So if situations whereby it's MailChimp, their own mail server might be let's say spf.mailchimp.something, I don't know. But then to include that, you have to be spf1 include colon spf whatever MailChimp gives to him. Because the reason why this is important is because situations, people would get emails about, hey, what's up? My email is going to spam. I'm sending emails, but then my people are receiving it as junk, and some of the situation that comes is because of wrong syntax. Okay, sometimes wrong syntax can destroy everything. Your email will just keep going to spam. So wrong syntax can actually affect how your emails come in. So everything has to be detailed in the right way. Everything has to be written in the right way. If it is just a little dot, okay, that was omitted from this syntax, can cause your emails going to junk. Okay, so yeah, that's all about SPF. So yeah, so this is an illustration um, on SPF. So this is the sender with the computer here, and you could see first the email is being sent. It goes through the inbound mail server, which is our mail server internally. So let's say, for instance, this is from Microsoft to Microsoft. So the inbound mail server, which the organization, the Microsoft tenant, each one of them have, it goes through that, and then it goes to look for the DNS. So the domain itself, let's take abc.com. It's going to go to abc.com, look for the DNS server, look up the SPF record, right? We look it up and see, okay, this is correct or not, okay? Excuse me. So if it is, let's say from the application, and it sees from the application, okay, yes, I have this SPF record inside the DNS record. Okay, yes, I can see now that you are correct. Then SPF record results. Okay, it looks up into it and gives the feedback that this is correct or wrong. And then it goes through the authentication, and there are other methods, the other authentication methods it has to go through. And then you see the results, either trusted or it goes to junk. Okay, so that's all about SPF. So now DKIM, domain keys identified mail. So in this case, this is an email authentication method that helps verify that an email was sent from an authorized server and hasn't been tampered with during transit. When an email is sent, the sending mail server attaches a cryptographic signature to the email header. This signature is generated using a private key that kept secure by the sender. So DKIM is more like I would say of recent times, DKIM has been adopted to be very much more important. Previously, many people don't take it that serious, right? Irrespective of the fact that it is very important. So DKIM is important in the sense that it has if you're talking of data in transit, okay, when data is in transit, right, it has to ensure that it is not tampered with. It's more of like I'm going to go a little more into cybersecurity. Whenever data is in transit, whoever has let's say I am giving someone, all right, I'm giving someone my money, right? And I have to be sure that I'm giving it to the right person. I'm not just giving it to anybody, okay? So probably I have to look at the person's face. I have to look at our transaction. I have to look at everything that we discussed to ensure that this is the right person that's supposed to receive the money, right? So that is how DKIM works. It's more of data in transit, ensuring that it is not tampered with. So it comes in forms of hash values to cryptographic signatures in form of hash values, of which you don't want to go into all of that. It's not really that important. But if you understand the aspect that how electronic, how data gets to communicate with itself, okay, from one end to the other is through hash values, okay, not in plain text. And in this case, cryptographic. Okay, so these are not A, B, C, D, they are cryptographic, in which case it's not understandable to normal ways. So the sender domain publishes a corresponding public key. Okay, I think I'm not sure why I'm quite slow, but so the sender domain, I think I'm behind time, but I'll be faster now. The sender's domain publishes a corresponding public key as a TXT record in the DNS. So this public key allows receiving mail servers to verify the signature. So DKIM is essential for preventing email spoofing and phishing attacks. As of before, people just send emails even though you have not configured. SPF is like important. You cannot have your domain verified. If you're using a Microsoft 365 platform, you cannot work without SPF. Those are one of the basic things, but people even work without DKIM. Okay, but then as of recent, like I mentioned, Google and Yahoo, I think, have started, if you're sending emails to them and you don't have DKIM configured, right, you may get some bounce back. People have started getting such reports because their DKIM is not configured. So DKIM has started to be something of more importance because organizations want to ensure that the sender is a valid sender. Okay, if I'm sending from here and I'm sending it somewhere, the communication between I and the server, right? Let's say I'm sending from abc.com, it's validating that, okay, this person has actually validated with the DNS record. It has actually confirmed that this person is verified. The signature between the two is verified. So the data has been transmitted and it has confirmed it's a valid sender. So there are different values. So DKIM equals pass simply means that signature was verified. DKIM equals fail means it's not valid. DKIM equals none means no signature found. You probably haven't configured it yet. Now, I'm not sure, but at some point, this DKIM equals none might not you might not get it if you're within the same organization. So let's say I and John, we are in the same abc.com. If I am sending at Kingsley at abc.com to John, you might still see DKIM equals none, right? Because it's still within the same platform. But if I'm sending to XYZ, a different domain, then it has to go through that. So then DMARC DMARC is another platform built on SPF and DKIM, and it allows domain owners to specify how receiving servers should handle emails that fail authentication attacks or authentication checks. The DMARC record configures in DNS records, works a policy the DMARC record configured in DNS record works a policy to either reject quarantine or do nothing to the email received after processing checks with DKIM and SPF. So DMARC is like their senior brother. DMARC is like, okay, the two of you should do your work. You verify, I will give the final say, right? But then again, not everybody has DMARC configured. So these things are very important, all right? These things are important for people in their organizations in the sense that if I have this configured, okay, if I have this configured within my organization and SPF has done his part. SPF have done everything, see whether it's good or not. DKIM has checked his own, see whether it's good or not. And they both come and report to me. But I don't have anything to say. In fact, I am not even there. Okay. I'm not even configured. the email is just going to go through. Okay, it's just going to say, okay, there's nobody to report to. Let's keep going. So DMARC, being the senior brother, is there to report to see if this email is good, right? Because in this case, the syntax of DMARC has it that you can see V equals DMARC1, P equals reject, RUA to mail to, then email address. So this setting here, I would explain P has different values. Okay, I forgot to put that, but there are different values for P, right? The P can either be P equals reject, P equals quarantine, and P equals I think it's none, something like that. P equals none. Yes. So these are the values that you set up when these DKIM and SPF has reported and has seen that this person is not the right person. This person is coming from there's a wrong setup or something is not correct with the person's setup, that the person didn't pass SPF, the person didn't pass TKIM, and they come and report to me. So I would set it up that, okay, should I reject such emails or should I put such emails into quarantine? That is what the essence of the P equals is there. So this is what you'll configure in your DMARC TXT records. Then RUA equals mail to means that whenever such email comes in, mail to colon, send it to this person. Okay, send it to this person. All of these things you configure it in your DNS records. Send it to this person. Then roof is for NDR. Okay, if at any point there are NDRs which you get for such types of emails, roof equals mail to this email address. So the email address there is the email that such reports should be sent to. So the email, the person is going to get it, and not actually the email itself, but a report. Okay, it's like, hey, come and report what happened. Somebody sent an email and the person did not get SPF. The person did not validate this and that. So header values, DMARC equals pass, indicates that DMARC checked for the messages passed. DMARC equals fail indicates that the DMARC check for the message failed. DMARC equals none indicates that no DMARC TXT records exist. Now you see this a lot because people have not configured their DMARC records, but it's quite very much important. So this indicates no DMARC TXT records exist for the sending domain. Okay, so this, like I mentioned, is exactly how DMARC works. The mail server it goes to the mail server, and then it checks the DMARC policy, and straight up there are three results. Approved means it goes to quarantine, goes to inbox. Quarantine means it goes to spam. It's a spam email. Reject means it's completely blocked. So that's where the person is not going to get the email. It's just going to block or such. All right. So talking about spam confidence level, we're still on the header for the emails. Every email has a spam confidence level. So it is this crucial metric used by Microsoft email filtering system to determine the likelihood that an email is spam. So SCL, which is spam confidence level, messages are assigned SCL values ranging from -1 to 9. A higher value indicates a higher probability of the message being spam. -1, so I'll just put it in two ways: -1, 0, 1. Okay, -1, 0, 1 is good. Okay, but in this case, -1, the message bypassed spam filtering. Okay, bypass spam filtering. So that means the email, all these things are filtering processes, right? When someone sends an email through to a Microsoft 365 or platform, I think I have it. Yes. So I'm going to come back to the previous slide. So here you could see when someone sends an email to a Microsoft 365 platform, there are series of processes it would go through of spam filtering. It has to go through, not just if I not just spam filtering, lots of filtering. So coming from the internet, you could see here, this is for Exchange Online protection, not Google or any other one. Email is routed to the data center based on MX record resolution. So this is, I am sending from John to Jane at xyz.com. The first thing it does, it looks for xyz.com. xyz.com, where does it belong? Is it belonging to Google? Is it belonging to Microsoft? Is it belonging to Yahoo? Anywhere? Where does it belong? Right? That is the MX record. So the MX record will tell it, okay, this is where you should go through. Okay, and when it goes after, then it will now see, okay, so in this, is there any setup that I have to look at, right? Before it even goes through the user itself. So from there, it goes to EOP, Exchange Online Protection. There it now go to connection filtering is the first. So connection filtering is the IP address. The IP address of that sender is the first place it meets. That is the first filtering that it has to go through. So if, for instance, I set up a policy that any email from this IP address should be blocked, whether the person is good, whether the person is bad, whether the person is legit, whether the person is illegitimate. Once I have set that up at first, that's okay, I should bypass, or this person should be whitelisted. Once I have set it up, everything else is void, because it will first of all hit the connection filter and look whether it is a good or bad IP. So if it's an accepted one, it would go through it and continue. So you can see here the feedback, like you can see customer, the feedback, it goes either to quarantine or it would continue. So then it goes down to anti-malware. So the next thing it's going to look at is the anti-malware from EOP to see if there are any any malware contained, if there are any attachments contained in the email which is no good. Okay, if there are any attachments or file extensions which is not supported. Okay, zip files or pub files, any type of files that is not allowed within the system, because there are certain files, file extensions that it's not just going to go through. So this way you check this next on the mail flow, and then next it goes to the mail flow rules. So mail flow rules in this case is the policy filtering. Okay, policy filtering in the sense that this here, sorry, I forgot to add one thing. Before you get to these parts, okay, this is not really updated, but there is one thing that is missing, and that is mailbox rules. Okay, for every organization, the mailbox rules override. Okay, if let's say I, as an individual in a company, I set it up that any email coming from John, okay, any email coming from John at abc.com should be whitelisted. Any emails coming from him should bypass spam filtering. Okay, after the anti-malware, right after that, every other thing would not count. So if I have set it up individually for my personal mailbox, okay, personally, I have set this up, irrespective of the other rules, the mail flow rules, the content filtering, all the other ones that you see there. If I have set that up that it should bypass, it wouldn't matter. So the mailbox itself of the user presides or takes precedence over the transport rule for the organization. So if there is, sometimes people they're not aware about there is someone in their blacklist. Okay. There is someone whom they have sent, they are expecting an email, but every time that this person sends me an email, it always goes to junk. Okay, we have done everything. We've checked the mail flow rule to bypass. We've checked the connection filter. We've checked the anti-malware. We've bypassed everything. Yet this email keeps going to junk. But then one last thing is check the mailbox itself. Some people don't know, they're quite fast in working, and maybe they're supposed to click, they try to move an email um, from junk to inbox, and maybe they're just clicking, and they don't know when you right click on Outlook, you see something like not junk or junk. Okay, when you click that, there's something that is, if you click junk, okay, if you click junk, there's something that happens automatically. It sends that person automatically to your blacklist. So every email coming from that person will go to your junk. So people sometimes, I have noticed, seen this, people are not aware that someone is in their blacklist, but not in the organization's blacklist. And as long as it's in your own blacklist, it would always come to junk. So I've seen situations like that they did everything in the organizations, but that person email kept on going to junk because the sender is in their blacklist and they are not aware. So this is one of the things that the mail flow you have to take note of this pattern. You have to take note of this pattern first. So then the mail flow rules, talking of the policy filtering down from anti-spam, anti-phishing. There's a lot of this part covers so many things. The mail flow rule covers lots of things. Transport rules, policies, and all of that. And content now goes down to what's inside of it. It's still part of it. So yeah, that's how it goes down to your recipient mailbox. So back to what I was saying here. So if, for instance, it says the messages are assigned SCL levels ranging from -1 to 9. If it is -1, that means that person is a safe sender. You or the organization has whitelisted that person. And the email is going to, the SCL level is going to be -1, meaning it's bypassed spam filtering. Then 0 or 1 is just the normal way, legitimate emails. And then usually you don't get to see 2, 3, 4. It's quite rare. But then from 5 to 6, 5 or 6, such emails, you see the value come as SCL colon 5, 6, is classified as spam. 7, 8, or 9, the message is marked as high confidence spam. That's pure one. So actions based on this, messages with SCL values 5 or 6 are typically delivered to the junk email folder, or messages with SCL values of 7, 8, 9 may be quarantined depending on the organization anti-spam policy. So these are the things you would configure yourself. So yeah, that's much about it. So now I'm just going to leave too much theory. I'm going to go down to business to show us some of the things I'm talking about. So let me my mouse is not working. Give me a second. So let me go to just open up an email, for instance, to display some of the things we would see at first, and then we would go down to the anti-spam. So just a minute. All right, so I I'm going to pull up one of the emails. Okay, no, let me go to one I had set up initially. So give me 1 second. Let me use this one I used. Okay, so this year, I did do some phishing tests that I would show you guys. I did send initially. So this was an email. At first, this email came through to my quarantine. I already have strong policy settings. So I just had to whitelist and bring it to my inbox. But then you would see at least some of the things to which this has. Okay, so to see the message header, so back to everything we discussed, you would see the message, this is the message header itself. To see the normal, this is normal thing you get to see. Everyone just sees this, but nobody goes to see what's in behind. So to see the message, the envelope header, the P1 header, you have to click here, view and message details. It's Outlook desktop. It's quite different, but just a minute. I guess it's hiding in the background. 1 second. Okay, yeah. All right, so this is an example of the message header. Okay, so now, like I said before, some of these records are, I would say, some of these things have been they have been advanced. Okay, they have been advanced methods to bypass them. So forget about all these ones here. There's a better way to analyze this. Let me just copy all of this that we see here, all the way down. So I'm going to analyze this from Microsoft Test Analyzer. So just the shortcut exrca.com to analyze this. What's that? Come on. Okay, so I'll just come to Message Analyzer and paste the header and analyze header. Okay, so this is how you get to see each other. You can see it from here, but this is kind of a closer way to look at individually how these emails were sent, right? This normally, you could see this is the sender. There is certain things which people may not notice. For instance, one of them is when I'm sending an email. Unfortunately, I couldn't configure or reproduce what I'm about to talk about. You might see an email, for instance, that the email would look like this. Where is it? The email is going to look like this from Microsoft. Right, you're going to see maybe an email looking like this from Microsoft, and this is completely fine, right? You would see the email, Azure, no reply, all good, dope, everything. So, but then again, because this is a spoofed email, okay, you would think because this is a spoofed email, there are certain things that can never be there. Okay, you might see this is good, right? I'm saying this because there has been advancement. Before, people don't get to notice the sender. And that is why that is one of the criteria. But now they notice the sender, but still it is still spoofed. Why is that? Because there are certain things that cannot be there in the header, in the envelope header. Even though this is Azure no reply at Microsoft.com, there are certain things that can never be there within the header as Azure no reply at Microsoft.com. So I'm about to talk about some of those things now. So this is one of them. No, sorry. This is one of them here. So the I'm going to just go down to what I was talking about. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so this is one of them. So one of the things to look out for is the from address. Okay, the from address. There are these things here written are normal, but one of the things to look out for is the from address and the return path. Well, the return path doesn't really matter, but for some people, the return path would show you the actual sender. Sometimes the return path might just be an application that was used to set this up. Okay, it might be with Amazon applications, or it might be with some other ones. But then sometimes you could see this here. I didn't do this well, but I was trying to replicate that the sender that you are going to see is this Microsoft no reply at Microsoft.com, but the actual sender is this. So when you look at the header, these are some of the things, the return path as well as the from. Okay, the from, which is this one here. Okay, the from, no, I'm actually missing it out. It should be somewhere down here. Okay, I'm sorry, maybe this one doesn't have it, but there is a from that most emails have. Let me see if I can pick up another one, but I think time is not on our side. So the from is usually the from RCP2 would show you the actual sender if it's actually coming from the legitimate person or the person just tried to spoof. So these are some of the things you get to see. So other things here, SPF. So this one you see here shows you that there has been advancement. Okay, the tool that I use to send this is quite sophisticated one. So this was able to go through, but then I don't have DMARC set up. Okay, these ones, but then you can see sender IP to, well, this one is legitimate showing like this. I think is because I use the Gmail. Okay, it's already showing Gmail as the sender. It's already showing Gmail as the sender, and that was the actual sender. So that shows the SPF already passed. But then sorry, where does this go to? So I can bring this down. Okay. Okay, so some of the things I'll just talk about them. So for instance, SPF here, for some that their setup might not be well, SPF will be equal to fail. Okay, DKIM would also be equal to fail for some of them. So this here, we received SPF shows, yeah, that's the reason why it passed, because I did set it up and verified the authentication from Gmail, right? And that's why this actually passed. And then the CIP, let me just go down to CIP, which is the client, the connecting IP address. You could see how the email came through. From here, this shows how it started. To analyze this, the email came through smtp to gmail.com, going through Gmail servers like this, all the way down. So none of these shows like anywhere coming from Microsoft or stuff. But then for other people with this analysis, you could actually see if this is actually coming from a legitimate source. From all of these things here, you could see glaring things that the servers, the mail servers to which they go through are not legitimate, or they are legitimate. So some of the things here, like here, for instance, the protection policy category that I mentioned, CAT, C-A-T, CAT showed us fish. That is somewhere. I'm just going to scroll down if I can find it. CAT showed us as fish because this email was automatically blocked, and it shows it blocked because I had a URL. So right here, exactly the X4 front anti-spam header that I was talking about, this is where everything is picked from. The CIP is the connecting IP address. This one, you can see it's IPv6. Um, this here shows -1 because I had released it from quarantine. Okay, I had released it from quarantine. Also, SFV, this here is means that you released it yourself. Normally, it will be SFV colon spam. SPM, sorry. But it's now SKQ because I released it from quarantine, so we can look at some of these things together. So you can see this here shows quarantine released, but I can just go straight down to the policy itself. Let me just go straight down to configuring these policies. So down here, where are we? Okay, so down here, this is where the anti-spam policy is. I'm not sure everyone knows how to get here, but let me just go all the way back to the beginning. From the Microsoft Defender page, we went to policies and rules, we went to threat policies, and then we went straight to anti-spam. Okay, from anti-spam, we arrived here. Just hold on while this is loading. Okay, so there are certain settings here. One of them is the connection filter that I talked about. So if you have anything set up here, connection filtering, to block any IP, always allow messages from the following IP addresses, or always block, this can be done. So sometimes if you allow certain IPs, if you set this up to allow an IP, everything would go through. Okay, it's not, well, not everything, but at least it would allow the IP at first. But then if you block, okay, a certain IP, nothing else would matter. It would already be blocked. Okay, so this is the connection filter. Then the anti-spam inbound filter. This is, excuse me, inbound emails. So this is where we can set up some advanced spam filtering, and this you get to see some things from here. So from here, we just go straight down here to the spam policy. So this, for instance, this is the bulk email threshold. Based on the bulk email threshold, these are default settings. From 7 above, okay, anything from 7 above will likely go to junk, or based on what you set it to be. Okay, this is for emails that have BCL level like this, and they are due to bulk newsletters, they would go to the junk. And so now here is, if, like I mentioned initially, if you want to set up advanced spam filtering based on certain criterias, okay, one of them being that the IP, okay, or there are lots of things to think of here. So one of them, image links, okay. This is not all ideal because everybody have signatures, and the signature might contain a link in the image. So this is you wanting to block or get it to increase. You can see here it increase spam score. Increase spam score means that you want to increase the SCL level that it's filtered as spam. So that's what that means. So if you want to increase it for images containing links, that's where you configure this. The numeric IP for this address in URL, if a numeric IP is in the URL, then this is likely going to be filtered. So there are lots there. You can do the test, or you can turn it on or just leave it off as this. Link to .biz or .info website, because spammers use these sites sometimes whenever they send you emails. So you might want to think of that as an option. Mark as spam for empty images. So specify whether to mark messages that include these messages as spam. If the the messages are empty, okay, you want to either leave it off or turn it on. But I don't see if that's ideal. For some people, they might just want to turn that on for any email that's is blank, okay, contains nothing. It should just, mark it as spam. Then embedded tags in HTML. If, for instance, the tag it has some tags in the HTML, you want to maybe turn it off or on. That is for every email that comes in, okay, it's in form of a HTML, is an HTML format or RCT format. So if in that there are embedded tags, you want to put this into the question, that is also what you can do. So lots of things to configure: JavaScript, form tags in the HTML, frame tags, web bugs, object tags, and then sensitive words. If there are words that the person is sending and you just want, sensitive word. These are not you. You can't configure this yourself. This is Microsoft that would detect that they feel these are offensive words. Microsoft sees it as offensive, they would block it. Okay, or they would do whatever you tell them to do. Put it into junk or quarantine, whatever setting you put up here. Okay, so then this one, SPF. So because of sometimes people don't get to put in their on-premise environment. They don't get to put it into the SPF record. Okay, there's a different SPF record that is hard fail. Okay, for such, right? Some people might want to turn this on. Okay, some people might want to turn this on for scenarios whereby the SPF was, did not verify. Okay, it is a hard fail. So it is not in all situations you want to do that. Like I mentioned, you can get lots of false positives because of this. That is legitimate emails coming in but are being blocked. So these are some of the things people get to test based on scenarios or things that come into play. Okay, some of them here you could play around with them. The backscatter is much more about NDR. People might send a spam email in form of NDR, that is like a bounce back. Okay, a bounce back email might be sent to you, you thinking that, oh, I sent an email, but how come it wasn't? I didn't send this email. You just see it like it's about you got a bounce back email, but then you never sent that email. Okay, so this is one of them. Then specific language. If you want to block specific languages, this is where you can block them. From certain countries, if you don't trust everybody sending you emails, you want to block specific countries sending you emails, you can do that as well from here. And then one of the things when you set this up is that like I mentioned, it's going to add, you can add this default X header to it, and these things are going to be added to your header. So I will talk about also a little much more about because these also there are certain things which you have to know about the impersonation. So I'll go to, where is it? Anti-phishing. So anti-phishing comes into play when there are phishing emails, right? This email that I sent, the phishing email I sent already got blocked because I had standard preset security policy turned on. Some people might not have it turned on because it might be too strict for them, but this is good. Strict, if you want to turn, there are two preset policies. So I will explain. These two here you see here, the preset security policy and the standard Microsoft built-in, Microsoft recommended policies. But then it is optional because for some, like the strict one, you can see I have it turned off. It is very aggressive, which means it can have false positives. So it can have lots of false positives. So but I just stayed with the standard one because it is good and it's already did its job. So there are certain things which the standard preset policy you might not get to see them. I'm sorry, the default anti-phishing policy. This anti-phishing policy, there is what we call domain impersonation protection. So this here is, it's not available to everyone. You have to have at least Microsoft Defender for Office 365 Plan 1. You need to have that at least to have this feature. So this feature, what it does is that it gives you the ability to protect users from impersonation. So this is now Microsoft doing the work for you. You don't have to go through all of the, going through the headers to check what. So the reason for checking for headers is for sometimes false positives or false negatives. And then if you, the reason for this here is for Microsoft to do the job for you. Whenever there are impersonations, someone is trying to impersonate, like a spear phishing or a whaling attack. Um, Someone is trying to send an email and it looks like it's coming from your boss. Okay, your boss, you see that, okay, my boss sent this email to me. So what do? I just go and I just do anything. But then again, your boss never sent that email. Okay, so that is, in this case, you look at it, it's looking like, let's say my boss name is John Doe. I look at the name, I look at everything, it looks good. It's coming from John Doe. The picture, sometimes the picture would even be there. So that's how far they've gotten. So, but then user impersonation is there to protect you from these types of situations. So when you configure this, it is going to, let me just click this here. When you configure this, it's meant to protect the specified people from being impersonated. So you might want to set this up for the administrators or the people who are maybe into billing system, or maybe the accountants, or people that you know that people would like to impersonate, because that's where people like to do these things. They like to impersonate invoices or impersonate from bosses, right? So the essence of this is to protect the impersonation of those people. So here you can configure all the settings here, and yeah, you can see who you want to protect from all the users, the domains to protect if there are lots of domains there, to set it up. So everything from the Microsoft platform, you could see it's all just the same. You're just going through the same clicking process. And then spoof intelligence. Spoof intelligence is also a way that it gives you the guide to, excuse me. So this is spam machines, okay? Because some of these things are AI machines done from backend. So the technology that goes behind these things are backend. So the spoof intelligence is like an AI within the backend that gets to detect for spoofed emails or domains being spoofed from your organization, and then it gives you like a rundown of who was spoofed, who is likely to be spoofed for things like this. So this is where you can configure all of these things. And then also the phishing email threshold here. So this is this is the default value. The severity of the action that has taken on the message depends on the degree of confidence that message is phishing. So there is, you can see low, medium, high, or very high. Sorry, I'm rushing, but I'm just trying to beat time. So you can set it based on what you like it to be. As you can see, as I'm increasing it, it's showing that it is aggressive. Aggressive meaning I can get some false positives. So legitimate emails might come and may be quarantined. So all these are set of things you want to just configure. And then one last thing, let me check some I'm missing out. Yes, so the DKIM here, this is where you get to configure it. DKIM, for instance, you Microsoft platform, they give you the keys. Like I haven't done mine, so but I don't think you just get to create the keys from here. You create it, and then you go to your you collect the format. It's just going to be immediately, you just the format, you just copy it and go to your DNS, copy it there, and then you paste it the way that you see it. So let me just see, there's something else I'm missing out. So for the anti-spam, so back to the anti-spam. Okay, sorry, I haven't touched on the malware. So there's not on the there's nothing much on the malware. Usually, still relies on what you set for it. Okay, anti-malware, for instance, the default one, you can set the common filter here. So like this now, I just enable this. I have set it that, okay, look, file types, I don't want certain file types. These are the default ones which are not allowed. They are default ones which are not allowed. Okay, so, and then what do I do with these? Should I reject or should I quarantine the message? So if you want to enable common attachment filtering, that is also good. And also the quarantine policy is this is a different thing altogether. If you want admins only to receive the quarantine, that an email has come in, you can choose that option. What else? What else? What else? So yeah, basically talking about the presets policies, these two covers the three major ones. Okay, these three major ones: anti-phishing, anti-spam, everything here. Okay, everything, not just these three actually. Everything that is here is being covered by the preset security policies. So the settings, you cannot modify them. You can only just set them to who should be affected, who should we trace, or who should we apply the protection to. If we want it to be specific people, we want to set this to, we just go ahead to apply the protection to specific people. Then so then this one is for Defender. So there is the basic one. If you notice, there is apply EOP and there is apply Defender for Office 365 protection. Why is that? Because there is different levels of protection. This one of them that's included is that one I mentioned, which is impersonation. Impersonation protection doesn't come with your basic Office 365. You have to have Defender for Office 365 Plan 1 or Plan 2 to have this included. And then the impersonation protection, from here, you can get to see who should we put in here to protect whenever such things happens. We can configure this to add any person from the organization, or we can add domains that we want to protect from such impersonations from here. And then, yeah, so we get to, so it's the same thing from here. If you want to do it for the strict one, just know that this is more aggressive than this one. And then I was going to talk about, yeah, I think I've already talked about the handling false positives and false negatives, but majorly sometimes you would have these things coming. Okay, false positives can come in because there are lots of scenarios they would come in. False negatives, if you have lots, if you have subscribed to an email, let's say from social media, you subscribe to a newsletter from social media, there is not much Microsoft can do. That's a fact, because you are the one who subscribed to it. You have to go and unsubscribe, because sometimes you see people have tons of emails coming in like on a day-to-day basis, and you wonder, why are these just coming in? Why are they just coming in? Microsoft can't control that because you have put in your email, you subscribe for it, and then they just keep coming. Such things, it's down to you and down to the organizations to use the advanced spam filtering to manage it, or you can just try to block. Okay, from a user perspective, just try to right click and block. You have lots of them, but then that's why it's advisable to not subscribe to newsletters with your organizational email, and then just try to keep things as simple as they should. So yeah, I think that's pretty much sums it. Thanks, guys.
Hello, Kingsley.
Hi, Joshua.
Yeah, thank you very much for the wonderful session. Guys, I told you, I hope you guys are loaded and bombarded already. Right? He did justice to email and spam filtering, even more than what we're supposed to learn, but he taught us everything, right? So what I would say is you can take what you've learned today and then go back and then explore more, right? We have Microsoft documentations that can make you expand your knowledge on what you've been taught, right? Things like SPF, DMARC, DKIM, right? Those are basic, the three authentication, email authentication methods, and then diving or going deep into analyzing an email where you need to see the SFV, the CIP, and other parameters, right? The BLK and other things. So thank you very much, Kingsley. It's an honor having you here. Thank you so much. So before I start taking questions, I would like to again acknowledge the leaders of the Nigerian M365 community here, those that are here and those that are not here. MJ, Emmanuel, Itoje, Emmanuel Oyimafu. We also have Joseph Afeso here, one of the MVPs. We have Rafiah here, Deji, Solomon, Adekunle, Emmanuel, Ake, and everybody, and every one of us that joined the session today. You're also being acknowledged. Thank you very, very much. So I'll go to the chat box immediately and then see what we have for today. Please don't forget to send the slide from Busayo. So Kingsley,
Sure.
we're expecting your slide, right?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, the guys would like to also be an expert like you. So in the next session, we can even invite one of them also alongside here. So Uguma said, please also show us SPF, Deakin, and DMARC configurations. Okay, I think Uguma, that has been covered. Kingsley actually did that. Yeah, showed us everything, how to enable it, and yes, and the different configuration, that CNAME records, text, and the likes. So Olusoji said, what could be the reason behind emails sent to Microsoft accounts like Outlook.com or Hotmail.com ends up in the recipient's junk folder and not inbox? SPF, DKIM, and DMARC all configured successfully. Okay, that's a question from Olusoji. Kingsley?
Okay. All right. So thank you for the question. So this is the thing, yeah. Microsoft, if you are using Outlook.com or Hotmail.com, bear in mind it's not the same. It is not Exchange Online Protection. Okay. It's Microsoft, yeah, it's Microsoft that owns both, but for these are personal accounts. Personal accounts like Hotmail and Hotmail Outlook.com use Exchange Active Sync. I'm not sure if I got that correct, but it uses Exchange Active Sync, which means it's a different mail server that handles it. So the setup is completely different from Microsoft. Now, I wouldn't 100% say that this is you're right. Okay, this is something that people have I myself have realized a lot of times, and to be honest, that is it's I would call it it's one of the the things Microsoft has kind of used to separate both sides. Okay, you can see I have a Gmail account. You'll see I have a Gmail account. That is because for personal, I trust Gmail in handling spam than Outlook. Um, Emails coming from out, I have tried to see to the Outlook.com is a different mail server in the sense that I cannot attest for them. Okay, it's a different mail flow of which the process I haven't really delved into it. Okay, Exchange Active Sync, but then again, as long as you have these things set up correctly, okay, as long as you have these things set up correctly, all the major thing you need to do, okay, is to whitelist. I'll be honest with you because this thing that you mentioned, I have battled with it for a long time that we realize there's no conclusion. It is all the spam technologies of Exchange Active Sync. But then the way out of it, I realized, is to whitelist. The moment you do right click and you say not junk or not, is a safe sender. Okay, the moment you do that, subsequent ones will not be blocked. But then again, I have realized something like that happening, but all these things don't really account for exchange active sync. That's the one for personal accounts because, like I said, it is a different. They don't this setup of EOP is not within their side. It's a different setup which I haven't really delved into it, and it's a different ball game to which why lots of people are experiencing it. It's a different ball game to why that keeps happening, but yeah. That's all. I just use the workaround of whitelisting for now. Just right click and whitelist so that it doesn't subsequent ones would go to your junk.
Thank you, Kingsley. Like Kingsley said, yes, Microsoft 365 Business is totally different from Microsoft 365 personal, and Kingsley has done justice to that. So just to add, right, other reasons might be like you said, there are two different systems. The reputation filtering is totally different. The content and formatting can also cause it going to the junk, right, folder. And then sometimes, Outlook, Exchange Online kind of have, I always say this, Exchange Online kind of have like an artificial intelligence. It kind of reads how you send emails, read emails, especially Outlook, right? Right. So sometimes user engagement, maybe such emails have low open rates, like that and like that. Then again, if you're sending a bulk email, right? Sometimes depending on the filtering service that is set on the other side, and then some authentication features might be missing also, and maybe the IP is also blacklisted. And the easiest way is what Kingsley has said, just to whitelist the IPs and then you're good to go. Thank you very much, Kingsley, for that. So they've been asking for your LinkedIn profile, which has been shared by
Okay.
Oyimafu, Emmanuel, right? So yeah. Again, guys, we have a mentorship program which is being handled by some of our leaders here. I think Rafiah is here. She's also part of the mentorship group. I think Joseph also, Rafiah and Joseph Oyimafu, Joseph Afeso and Emmanuel are also part of the team. So if you need to engage any of our mentors, our speakers, you can also have that. And then we have a very solid mentorship program that is ongoing. So another question for you, Joseph, sorry, Kingsley, is on Dikim, how does an email get tampered during transit?
Well, so the thing is, DKIM is not DKIM is not making it to be tampered. DKIM is restricting it from being tampered. Okay, DKIM is restricting it from being tampered in the sense that if um if I don't have my DKIM record set up, okay, then it can be tampered. Right? Then it can be tampered. So someone maybe with someone who has your network, right? Maybe the person is in between your network and the person sees everything that you're doing, right? They can actually tamper with messages that you're sending. Maybe if I'm within your network and there are some man in the middle attack, right? They could actually see that, okay, this person is trying to send an email. So they send you an email. I'm trying to send to this person, but somewhere I'm in the middle. They send it, and then So the essence is that DKIM restricts all of that from happening because the emails now goes through only valid signatures. So if it doesn't match, if the person that's receiving it and the person that sent it, the value do not match, it's going to say no, 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 no. So DKIM, the essence for DKIM is that both the sender's hash values and the receiver's hash value has to match. So it's a digital signature that has to be, once you have configured it in the first place, that is going to ensure that the emails being sent actually is from a valid source.
Yeah, thank you, Kingsley. That's true. Basically, Kingsley has answered that correctly. And just to add again, like you said, man in the middle attack can actually alter the headers, right? So let me give you this example. I worked with someone a while ago. They have, let's say, kingsley.com domain added to their Microsoft 365, and then they have another email server, let's say Joshua email server. On that Joshua email server, they added all the users. They added some users from Kingsley and Sons Limited Microsoft 365 right tenant that has the kingsley.com domain. So now I added Kingsley at kingsley.com to the Joshua email server. I created a distribution list and I added them. So whenever they send an email, whenever I send an email, let's say from Joshua at kingsley.com to that distribution list that is created on Joshua email server, right? And remember that on that email server, the users from Kingsley.com, Kingsley and Sons tenants are added there as members of the distribution list. So it's kind of, the emails are kind of in a loop, right? I send it to that distribution list and then it gets routed back to their respective inboxes, right? So again, things like that, when you have relays, um, mail forwarding, yes, SMTP servers or relay issues, yes. So sometimes that actually impacts or makes those the headers of those emails get altered. Thank you, Kingsley, for that explanation. I have another, okay, that was from Lovina. Thank you, Lovina, for that question. So from Samuel Oderinde, right? I have some guys have their hands up. We'll come to you guys. Let me just quickly take this. There's an issue I'm currently facing. This is by Samuel. My tenant cannot send emails to yahoo.com. How can I set up Dikim to resolve this issue? Kingsley?
Okay. Yeah, like I mentioned, like I said, Yahoo and Google, yes, they recently upgraded the standards of their email that if you don't have DKIM, you would, okay, you know what? I don't know if we should do this, but I reserved mine for this purpose. Mine too is not set up. I reserved mine because mine too is not set up. And if you want us to do that, let me just see how long it will take. But yeah, it shouldn't take long. So I'll just share my screen again. So this is, can you guys see my screen?
I can't see your screen.
Okay, so here you could see my, I just came here from policies and rules, the same way we were before, policies and rules, thread policies, and then I was here again, it's authentication policies, right? And then I went straight to DKIM. So I'm just going to do this quickly for mine. Well, basically, let's just wait for it. Shouldn't take long. So I'll just do this for my domain. So here you can see no DKIM keys saved for this domain. And I click on create DKIM keys. Just wait for it while it's okay, what was this? Aha. So publish, so it says publish CNAME. So DKIM values are in CNAME. So this is all I need. I'll just copy. Yeah, copy. So I'll just open a notepad and paste. Okay, so that's it. So then I can't even remember my domain provider, but just a second. Just a second, just a second. Dot serve. Okay, so this is me just trying to log in to my DNS. Okay, I just did, I'm logging to the DNS for the domain, which is what, renostone.tech. So you would log into your domain provider, which is, okay, hold on a second. This is not what it looks like. Just a minute. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to remember mine. So, but then it's just like GoDaddy. GoDaddy's, if you go to GoDaddy, for instance, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is you just see where you can actually see DNS. You'd see DNS over there. And okay. Ooh, sorry, guys. Okay, hold on a second. Xbox. No. I'll find it. I can't really remember the actual. Okay, you know what? Sorry, give me 1 second. I have it saved already. I don't know why the name is something strange. Google Password Manager. The name is something strange. It's not free now. Okay. Sorry, I don't remember. So, but then again, okay, this is something you just need to copy this actual keys. So it's going to be CNAME, this host name. If you go to your CNAME inside every DNS record, okay, whether it's GoDaddy, HostGator, whichever one you're using, you would see the CNAME, and the CNAME has where you put the value, you put the value, and then you put the host name. Okay, so all you need to do is just copy and paste. It's very simple. There are nothing, much to configure. You would see where you need to put the host name, right? So all you need to copy is just this. Okay, just copy this and paste. This one as well, point value. So value or destination, you will see something like value or destination. You copy this one as well, okay, and paste. You save. Then you do the same thing again, still for CNAME record. You copy another value, selector 2, this. You copy it and paste, and you put the corresponding value. You copy it and paste, and you save. So once that is done, this is going to be published globally to it's going to be published to the global DNS, and then once the record has been published, all you need to do is come back here and click this. If it has been published, because right now mine has not. If it had been published, this wouldn't take long. It will just roll, and it will just go straight to enable. So you can see now it's come back because it says the records does not exist because it's not published yet. So, but once you publish it from your DNS server, you just give it like 5 minutes and come here and enable. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. So I shared some documents in the chat for DKIM, SPF, and DMARC, right? So just to add to what Kingsley said again, if you guys remember what he shared on the screen, right? There are two sets of DKIM keys there. So we have both the selector 1 and selector 2. So it's always advisable you publish the 2. But again, what I know about DKIM is, I believe Kingsley mentioned that. So one works at a time. One of the keys work at a time. So it's I in my head I always kind of map it as to saying the other one is like a failover. If the other one is down, the other one fails over to the other one, and the likes. Again, when you are publishing these records, right? For some host providers, for some what's the name, hosting providers, right? It can be 10 minutes, it can be 30 minutes, it can be 1 hour, it can be 24 hours. So I worked on one recently. It took 24 hours for it to be published, right? And then before you're able to toggle that button from disabled to enabled, right? So yes, thank you very much, Kingsley. So you can just go through the documents I shared, and then you can see how to step by step on how to enable the DKIM, same way Kingsley has showed us in the practical session. Okay, let me see. Ugoma is asking. I think, okay, Ugoma's hands are down. Ugoma, would you like to speak, or do you want me to just read out your question?
Okay, I can still speak. I was going to ask for the SPF, the KIM, and the MAC. That means one has to register that domain in their tenant, right, to be able to do that.
Yes, you have to. In this case, if you want if the domain is to be hosted by Microsoft, okay, the emails be hosted by Microsoft, SPF, before you can even have the domain validated, you must do the SPF. That is for sure. So when you're registering the domain, you put in the MS record at first for Microsoft to host the email, the CNAME for Outlook, and then the third one being the SPF. That's those three records. If you don't put in the SPF, you cannot even verify fully the domain. It's not going to go through completely, except you skip that. And if you skip that, you're going to be having email issues. So SPF, that's all you need to do. Yeah. And DKIM as well.
Thank you, Kingsley. Ugoma, is your question answered? Okay, below means excellently answered. Thank you.
I'm confused, sir. Sorry,
okay.
sir.
Please go ahead.
I was going to ask this. The SPF, this is trying to stop spoofing. What if you are in a company, an organization, and you want to, you want to do it to be sure of those mails you're receiving that they are authentic. Of course, you can't have their domain in your. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Okay, you are trying to see if if you're trying to see if they're authentic. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, only those
yeah, so in that case, if you as an outside person wants to see if they are authentic, you can try to review the email headers. Okay, if you review the email headers, you can try to see how it plays out, because at first the SPF must have already been done by the company. Okay, the SPF must have already been done by the company. So
I
your own part
understand now.
is now to just review the email headers, if everything tallies, if something is off from there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Uguma, for your question. Busayo Oloye, please go ahead.
Okay. The question I have to ask, thank you. I learned a lot. The question I know is, as a technical support, you have to you have to understand all this, the practical, because even you know all the theories. When it comes to the field, some practical you have to understand. The question I want to ask about this: are you going to plan that will come to maybe the customer when you're working with technical support? If you have all this plan, you fill your plan. Like if you have a plan, is it going to work? As if your plan, the level of your plan, that you get all these the package you come with it. As if you understand my question, the level of your plan. Maybe you apply for a price.
Okay. Are you referring to the Microsoft license?
Yes. You are all these like all these things come for you till you surprise the plan, your plan easy. Or if you don't have all this some plan for these things, maybe you have a newer plan. All these things will not come with it. That's what
okay. So if you are asking about the right, getting the from your question, are you saying to get which plan is good enough? Is that your question? You want to know which license plan is good enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So for this is like I was showing you, there are different plans for different purposes, right? It depends on what you're trying to do. For this situation that you could see, I told you before, without Defender for Office 365 Plan 1 or Plan 2, some settings will not be available. So that's one. With Defender for Office 365 Plan 1 or Plan 2, you get access to impersonation sites, impersonation insights, domain insights. You get also access to a couple of so many things like there are lots of things that comes with it, right? And you can use it, sophisticated things with it. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve. For in this case, for a standard, it depends on what the business demand, because for every business they have a demand that goes together with costs and business. So for sometimes they might just want to have it this way, some might just want to have it this way, and like I said, everything depends on business. For some, they want to have, they're working with endpoint devices. In that case, you might want to go with Defender for endpoint. And also you might want to have things like enterprise mobility. Enterprise mobility gives you so many things. You get access to lots of security advanced features like conditional access and the rest. With that, you can explore even the sign-ins. If someone is signing from a different location, you can use the conditional access to restrict that person. So it all depends on what you want to achieve. For this case, I would say Defender for Office 365 is good for email security, is good for that. But if you want to explore sign-ins, maybe someone signing in from an anonymous location, someone trying to use unauthorized devices, things like that, compliance and all these things. So it all depends on what you want to do.
Thank you for the.
All right, Busayo, I hope your question is answered.
Yeah, it's answered, but also your second part of it. The vendor, is it the vendor is under the exchange? Is it the vendor is under the exchange, or the vendor is on his own on his own?
No. Defender is Defender for Office 365. Okay, Defender for Office 365. It's an add-on. I'll call it like an add-on. okay, is added to your security. So it is a license, is an add-on license that you add to the inbuilt ones that Microsoft has.
Okay, is under the security or is under the on its own?
Security license.
Okay, license. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Share your LinkedIn profile maybe on the group so I can.
No problem. We'll send links.
Yeah. So just to add to what Kingsley said, right? So I think the basics here is to know the plan that works for your organization. Yeah, the subscription. So again, we are talking about email filtering and all that. The basics for email, for you to send out emails or even receive emails in Microsoft 365 business, is for you to have a subscription or a plan that has Exchange Online, either plan 1 and plan 2, right? And then before you begin to talk about the spam filtering and all that, where you need to also explore sign-ins and other things where, like Kingsley said, you have, or you need to have Defender for Office 365, right? So we need to understand that also. And then if today is your first time of joining us, or you've been joining us in other sessions, monthly sessions, however, there are some things you still need to know. You can go to the Nigerian M365 community YouTube page. There are videos from beginners level subscription, how to select your subscription, how to choose a subscription, how to set up a tenant. Everything is there, right? You can also go through it just to refresh your memory on some of these things, and then when you come back to what Kingsley has taught us today, you see how easy it flows in. So I don't know if we have any other question in the chat, or if you have questions that you'd like to ask, right? I don't know if we still have any. I'm not sure. No one in the chat anymore, and nobody's hands are raised. So a quick summary, right? What I got from today's session is you need to add your domain first, right? Verify your domain with your TXT record, and then SPF. In my own term, I would say SPF is gives your domain authority to send an email, right? Why DKIM adds a digital signature, right, to your outgoing emails so that they are legit. And then DMARC is okay. If I send an email and it fails or does not get delivered, send me a response to this email. So yes, that's what I got from today's session from Kingsley. Thank you very much, Kingsley, for having us, for teaching us, for blowing our minds, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
We hope to have you here again. Yeah, thank you, Kingsley.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so before we go, I don't know if Oyimafu or Afeso have anything to add, to say before we go.
For me, I don't have anything to add. Kingsley, I just want to appreciate you. Your pace is nice, is both beginner friendly and also accommodating new joiners. We hope to see more of you on this program, and if you can also extend your help to the mentorship program, we definitely appreciate that. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Oyimafu.
Yeah, from here is thank you very much to Kingsley. That's been an awesome section. I learned a lot. I learned a lot. So it's a good one. So I joined Joseph to say if you can assist us in our mentorship section, it will be a good one. Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, see you next month for the next session. Cheers. Bye.
All right. Bye.